battlers, you know what it is. JayDevin back at it with another video. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe if you feel my vibe. Power up, punch the notification bell for all the PvP content. My voice is a little hoarse. I did pick something up. I'm not sure what it was, but hey, you know what it is. 'Tis the season to get sick. Moving on from that into something more positive. This is going to be the Tempest 2.0 video with the graphics included. I really don't know about you, but I certainly am hyped for this video. I've been putting a lot of thought, a lot of research, a lot of passion into what I do with these graphics and whatnot. Now, this one deserves some special attention because out of all the graphics that I looked at and all the sims that I ran myself, the most realistic and the easiest to understand graphic and meta explanation that I could find was from Hero Vange. Shout out to Hero Vange. Link to Vange's channel is in the description below. Also, real quick, shout out to the Alpha Gaming channel for putting that animation together and making it so easily and readily available for other creators and streamers or whatever to use. The animation is amazing. The sound effect, it's super hype. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alpha Gaming channel. But now, here you can see, getting into this Tempest 2.0 graphic, this is essentially the same thing. So keep in mind with the core meta graphic, it's not exceptional in terms of the actual content of the graphic. It is almost copy and paste exactly the same thing of what is already out there. So this is nothing new. But for the Tempest 2.0, to keep it very simple, simplified, whatever you want to call it, right? You can see way up in the top right corner, you have the flyers, okay? For the group of flyers, you have Altaria, Skarmory, as well as Charizard. In most situations, Altaria is going to dominate over Charizard, and in most situations, Charizard will dominate over Skarmory. Granted, you need to keep in mind that this does not mean in every shielding scenario, in every situation, that Altaria will win over Charizard or Charizard will win over Skarmory. For the most part, as far as simulations, it is a pretty dominant victory. However, depending on the situation you find yourself in, if you are lower on health or if they have built up energy or you have built up energy, etc., these matchups can still go either way within this triangle, okay? So it's not super definitive, remember that. And also, some closer considerable matchups between Altaria and Skarmory. This is one thing about Vange's video that I really loved and how he explained it in depth, is they can lose against each other more often than the other matchups within the flyers. As you can see, the little green Magneton next to Charizard and the little red Charizard next to Magneton over by the Electric Boys. I did feel that it's important to note that because within this graphic specifically, it is noted that the electric users or the anti-flyers have the green arrow pointing towards the flyers, which puts them out to be dominant and winning every matchup. However, with how squishy Magneton can be against Charizard, which is for the most part going to be used as a fire attacker within the Tempest 2.0 meta, having Fire Spin, Dragon Claw, and Blast Burn, unless he has no shields left, he is most likely going to win against the Magneton, okay? Obviously, Alolan Golem is going to check him very, very hard with the 256% damage per rock throw, as well as Alolan Golem can check Altaria much harder. However, overall, the anti-flyers are going to win against the flyers, etc. That's why I want to keep this as simple as possible, but I did want to include small scenarios like that, especially in these video explanations, so you can understand without just looking at the graphic. If you take it at face value, there's going to be some unanswered questions, and that's why I make the videos on the graphics after I put them together. And moving on to the next kind of obvious point is going to be the flyers versus the razor leafers, okay? Some battlers have been a little cheesy with how they use Obama Snow for the Tempest 2.0. Yes, in some situations can also be viable using Powder Snow, so he isn't just necessarily going to be used 100% of the time as a razor leafer at the end of the day. There are other strategies and sub-strategies and off-meta strategies that can come into play, just like with every meta and every single cup. However, for the simplicity and for the sake of this graphic, we're going to assume that both of them are going to be razor leafers. Okay, Tropius obviously can be super dominant, as well as Obama Snow. Not so much dominant on the Obama Snow side. One weakness he does have as a razor leafer and why he is going to be, for the most part, inferior to Tropius as a razor leafer choice is because of his double weakness to fire. Charizard will dominate Obama Snow, okay? I mean, Charizard can still probably dominate Tropius as well. However, again, considering some scenarios, if they're using Air Slash, or even if you're low on health and they're able to get off an Aerial Ace, Charizard still could potentially lose, because Charizard is also still pretty squishy. He's not the beefiest. He's not a tank. Obama Snow with Powder Snow can be more of a threat to the likes of Altaria, so that's one thing to consider. If you're going to run a Powder Snow, Abomasnow that can potentially check the Altaria, typically, I mean, if it's going to be a Razor Leaf, you're going to want Razor Leaf, Outrage, as well as Energy Ball, which will be a Grass-type charge attack, which can give the super effective against the Celio, against the Lapras, against the Mud Boys, and also against the Lantern. But if you're using Powder Snow, realistically, you're going to be able to get to Blizzard more often, obviously, because Powder Snow is just a superior move in terms of energy gain compared to Razor Leaf. So Abomasnow can be kind of a wild card. He can be used differently. I feel like he can be kind of a specialist. However, for the most part, again, for the simplicity of this graphic, we're assuming he's a Razor Leafer. Remember though, he will still take super effective damage from the Sky attack. And moving on to the next quadrant, which is going to be the Mud Boys. I really like how the Mud Boys they haven't really changed, but I do really like the new addition of Swampert for the Tempest 2.0. I still believe that Mudshot, Hydro Cannon, as well as Earthquake is going to be the most optimal moveset, because that's going to be considering the matchups to the Electrics. Earthquake will pretty much dominate all of the electrics respectively. Lantern can still be a little tanky, so that's one matchup to consider. If you want to be more of a threat, if you're using a Mud Boy, if you want to be more of a threat against the electric users, and Lantern in particular, you might want to possibly consider running Wishcash instead of Swampert or Quagsire. Which brings me to my next, I guess, sub point within this quadrant of this meta graphic guide, this meta video, whatever this is. Quagsire. Quagsire has Acid Spray now. For the most part, I don't think Acid Spray is going to be considerable. As you can see from this meta layout and this core meta graphic, they're all going to be hard checking everything else for the most part. So I still believe you're going to want Mudshot, Stone Edge, as well as Earthquake in most situations. Acid Spray still could potentially come in super clutch. The only reason I would think you would really want to run something like Sludge Bomb for this would be to deal super effective against grass. I mean, on that note, I really don't think running Sludge Bomb is necessary at all by any means. Again, you know, it depends on your team composition and the strategy that you're using for a Tempest 2.0 tournament. You know, I don't feel like I'm going to need Sludge Bomb to potentially check Tropius. You're more than likely going to get deleted by Tropius before you can do anything. And if even then, if you're going to bring a flyer to check Tropius, if you're going to use Charizard or Skarmory, if you're doing the Skarm farm, or if you even have the Altaria, they're going to do a much better job naturally at checking Tropius than a Sludge Bomb on a Quagsire is going to be. But again, you know, that depends on your strategy, right? If you have a different moveset, for example, on your Charizard or on your Skarmory, I don't know why you would, but if you do, then yeah, you might need to consider having Sludge Bomb for that additional grass coverage. But again, that's just my basic thoughts on the core meta with everything that I read, everything that I looked at. For the most part, I think that is going to be the consensus from everything that I've read and what I've seen other people saying on Reddit, on other PvP content creators' videos and streams. I try to keep an eye on as much meta breakdowns as possible. I want to hear and I want to see what everybody is saying and what everybody is thinking. And then I want to be able to relay that information to you battlers who do watch my videos or who do join my streams. And even for some Utah locals, shout out to you if you do watch my videos or if you jump in on my streams. I guess I can bring this to you as well if you didn't already know about it. Moving on to the next quadrant, I am going to save what I think is the best for last, but we're going to be moving on to the electrics now, okay? The electrics can play a very special role individually within this Tempest 2.0 meta, okay? First, we're going to check out Lantern just a little bit. Now, Lantern for the Tempest 2.0. I love Lantern in the original Tempest to begin with. Why? The water gun damage can be real. Hydro Pump can still be super clutch against the Mud Boys. Against the Flyers, it can still do massive damage. Lantern was, and I believe still is, going to be a very viable option. He's tanky. He has, for the most part, he has a pretty good moveset. I think Thunderbolt does hold him back a little bit. I think many battlers would agree with me that he would be so much better if he had Wild Charge instead of Thunderbolt. But hey, it is what it is. He's still good. I love my Lantern boy. He's the cheese. So what roles can Lantern fill, right? Again, depending on the situation you find yourself in or the shielding scenario, who has more health when that matchup starts, etc. Lantern can still win against the Mud Boys with the Hydro Pump. He can. He can also completely wipe out Celio as well as Lapras with the Thunderbolt, and just the sheer Water Gun and Thunderbolt combination against the likes of Charizard and Skarmory. He can dominate those matchups. He can struggle a little bit against Altaria, but being a tank for the most part, you're going to want to, if you're going to win against Lantern in the Altaria matchup, you're either going to want to get off the Dragon Pulse when they have no shields, or you might potentially have to play around it, because it can be kind of a tricky matchup. Lantern is good. I like Lantern. I like him a lot. And then moving on to Golem. I'll save Magneton, which would be my favorite choice for last. But Golem can be very interesting, right? Being electric and rock typing, he is going to be taking double super effective damage from ground type attacks. So Whiscash specifically can dominate that matchup almost entirely. It's almost sad how much Whiscash is going to dominate Alolan Golem as well as even Magneton. But Whiscash, if you didn't already know, has Mud Shot, then also access to Mud Bomb, which is one of the fastest PvP move combinations there is in the game. I think the fastest of all time still currently is going to be Flygon with Mud Shot as well as Dragon Claw, which you can see I have him as a wild card, but for the most part, I left him as a wild card. I don't think he really has a place in the core solidified meta itself. But yeah, if you are going to end up running that Rock Boy, that bearded Golem, you definitely need to keep an eye out for Whiscash, as well as if you're going to be utilizing Whiscash, I would probably recommend that you have Blizzard as the additional charge move if you have an additional charge move. But again, still at the end of the day, it really just depends on your strategy and your team composition and what you're thinking you are going to do. Moving on to Magneton. I really like Magneton. And I'm honestly, to be honest with you battlers, I'm really salty that I do not have a double legacy Magneton. I have a legacy one, but mine's only Spark, Discharge, and then Magnet Bomb. I do not have one with Thundershock. So if you are local or if you know somebody local to me who has a double legacy Thundershock, Discharge, Magneton, I would trade almost anything in my entire Pokemon inventory to get that double legacy from you. I'm serious, I want it. Now, why Magneton? I know you're probably thinking he's already super squishy. Yes, we know that. But let's be honest, arguably the best battler of all time. Shout out to you, Valor Ash, Elite Four TV member. Link below, I'm gonna link their channel below as well. But Valor Ash really likes Magneton. And initially, when I heard and I saw him using Magneton a lot, I'm like, why? Why are you using Magneton? He's so squishy, like he can get dominated, ROFL stomped in a lot of matchups. Why are you using him? Well, the conclusion that I came to, this is my honest answer with everything that I watched and everything I read. You might not like this answer, but I'll tell you the conclusion that I drew from everything that I looked at. Magneton is such a great choice, especially in the Tempest 2.0, depending on your skill level. I feel like you do have to be a very high skilled battler to know how to use and how to utilize Magneton. I don't even know that myself. I'm not even close to on that level. I haven't even hit Challenger, okay? I'm still a rival. I'm still in the scrub zone. I haven't even really had a chance to truly test out the Thundershock, Discharge, Magnet Bomb, Magneton myself within the game. Granted, we do have the amazing new feature from PvPoke for training where you can test it out and you can see if it's going to work for you. But your switch timing, how you use your shields, as well as your team composition, I believe are the three main factors that come into play for properly utilizing the monster that Magneton can be. Discharge is going to be a lower energy cost move as well as Magnet Bomb. They're both very efficient in terms of energy, and Thundershock is one of the fastest charging type moves for PvP. So having access to all of that, you do have to play carefully. It's like if you're going to use Magneton, you have to be playing poker. Are you going to call my bluff or am I going to dominate you with my switch and my shield strategies? I think that is ultimately what utilizing Magneton to the best of Magneton's ability can come down to. Valor Ash, if you do watch this video, if I'm correct, if I'm incorrect, please let me know. However you end up reaching out, just let me know if I'm right in saying that or if I'm giving these battlers bad information. Please call me out. Now, moving on to what is my personal favorite quadrant or subsection or whatever you want to call it of this Tempest 2.0 video, the waters. Yes, Lapras and Celio. I did get very, very lucky actually. Yesterday on my lunch break, I caught a rank 3 Spheal. I instantly evolved it. I want that rank 3 body slam spam coming at you for the Tempest 2.0. I currently don't have any plans, tournaments coordinated to actually have a Tempest 2.0, but hey, if you jump in on a stream and you challenge me on a stream and you want to do Tempest, you best believe I'm going to be bringing that rank 3 body slam spam in Celio. Anyways, so yeah, Celio, Powder Snow, Body Slam, as well as Aurora Beam. Powder Snow charges very, very quickly. I think that Body Slam spamming he can go to town on pretty much anything, even if it's resisted. Just how quickly he can get them off. Like, that's why I call him the Spam Master. He's the Body Slam Spam and Sealeo. He does his thing. Powder Snow gets to Body Slam so quick. We'll get into the meta move guide after this, but Powder Snow, Body Slam, and Aurora Beam. Aurora Beam's gonna hit Tropius for super effective. It's going to hit Altaria for super effective. Other than that, for the most part, you're just going to want to stick to Body Slam. You know, even if it's against a Rock Boy, it's going to be resisted. Whatever, you're going to be taking super effective from the Rock and the Electric attacks anyway. And same thing for Magneton. Even though it's going to be resisted, just get off the Body Slam spam. Don't even waste the extra energy on using an Aurora Beam. Just go Body Slam. This isn't by any means an upgraded 2.0 meta for Tempest. If anything, it's just a pretty graphic to look at that might get some people interested into PvP. That's why I do it. You know, I'm just trying to get some people interested. We need some more battlers. We need some more. We need to make PvP bigger. We need to make PvP better. I could go on about that all day because, you know, I do it for the battlers. Here is probably the part of the video that you were looking for, that you were really waiting for. This is also what I've been waiting for, what I really have wanted to get to. This is the meta moves for the Tempest 2.0. I originally started putting these graphics together, funny enough, as flashcards for myself because I would constantly get shield baited in tournaments, and my results from my performance was fine, but my results from those tournaments because of that shield baiting was pretty lackluster as to what I feel I could perform as. So literally I started to make flashcards for myself to make myself a better battler and more competitive, to be ranked higher. And I thought, you know what, why wouldn't I just do this for everybody? Why wouldn't I just turn it into a graphic? So I did just end up turning them into graphics. But here you go, just like what I did for the Twilight 2.0 meta moves guide. What's included in this meta moves Tempest 2.0 is literally just the core meta from the meta graphic that I also pair it with. They're a care package, it's a bundle package. No, you don't have to pay anything for this. It's free. It is for you. I made it for you. You know, again, if you're new to these videos, or if this is the first time that you have seen one of these for me, I am going to tweet this out. I'm going to post it on the Silph Arena subreddit. I'm also going to put it on the Ghost Stadium Discord, the Battle Park Discord. I'm going to try and put it as many places as I possibly can, so hopefully all of you can have access to it. If you are not on any of those platforms and you would like to be able to actually receive your own copy of these graphics in some way, shape, or form, please just let me know. Throw it down in the comments below. I will do anything I can to bring you this care package. It is for you. I will deliver. Now, when you look at this graphic and you take it for face value, you can see a lot of them, like Altaria just below as an example. It takes Altaria 15 Dragon Breaths and 20 Dragon Breaths to get to Sky Attack and then to get to Dragon Pulse. No, that does not mean Altaria is slow and Altaria is a bad option. That is simply because Dragon Breath is very fast. So to keep it into layman's terms and without trying to confuse people who are possibly new to the scene, when you see Dragon Breath happening, it's very quick, right? Dragon Breath, Dragon Breath, Dragon Breath, Dragon Breath. So you can count. When you see 15 of those, you know they at that point are going to have access to be able to use a Sky Attack. But you also know with this meta moves graphic, they're going to need 5 more to get to Dragon Pulse. So that will help you consider if you're going to shield, or if you need to switch, or if you don't need to switch, whatever you end up deciding to do. Hopefully this can help. I'm not going to go into depth or into detail with all of the different options because, as you can see, there's 13 of them. That would just make this an absurdly long video. So we're going to keep it short and we're going to keep it simple. I will get these graphics out to everybody after this video actually uploads, so you can have access to them. That is pretty much going to be it for the Tempest 2.0 video. I hope you guys utilize all these resources that I've tried to provide. Again, if you can think of some other different way for me to bring these things to you, feel free to just, again, throw it in the comments below. I will do my best to bring it to you. If you did enjoy, subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up punch the notification bell for all the PvP content. That is it for this Tempest 2.0 video. We'll see you in the next video. Please have a good freaking day.